Brady Quinn, how the hell are things going at the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational in Boca at the old course at Broken Sound?
It's going well. It's going well. We tied yesterday in our group, at least for that. Would have liked to finish a little better, but it's all right. Day 2 is today, and I will say this: it is open to the public. So there's just a different feel right now around it because there'll be a lot of fans kind of pouring in and through, wanting to see some of the senior PGA Tour players, but also the Pro Football Hall of Fame players that are here. And there's a slight chance someone's going to get hit with a golf ball. And I could potentially be one of those people hitting someone with a golf ball. So the anxiety has already started on my end of things. But yeah, it's an amazing setup. They've done a tremendous job setting this up, and we kind of talked about it yesterday. There's obviously a huge charitable impact too in the community. 3 main charities: Habitat for Humanity, the First Tee, and then the Boca Raton Regional Hospital. They've already raised over $3 million for the Boca Raton Regional Hospital. So it's not just about golf and fun and all the Pro Football Hall of Famers. They're doing a lot of good work out here as well. Can we tap in a Pro Football Hall of Fame legend?
Yeah.
And my fellow Irishman and Tim Brown, who's joining us now. Is that all right?
Let's do it.
Golden Domer. Let's bring a Domer on.
Tim, can we do this the right way though? Can we we want to do this the right way for you. So let's do this the right way.
Oh God. Oh my God.
That's right. I know you got us this year. That's all right.
You got us this year.
Tim Brown joining us here on Fox Sports Radio.
Penn State.
The Hall of Famer. Tim, how's your golf game? We were talking yesterday and just trying to figure out whether or not Calvin Johnson was nervous about the whole thing. How's your golf game going into this event?
I've been playing a lot of golf, man. There was an event called the Pro Tour about 2 weeks ago in Dallas, man, where you had to walk. We walked for 3 days, and I played 6 days in a row golf. I don't know if I've done that in a long time. So, hey, at this particular point, I know where my misses are going to be, and so I just try and play to that and keep the ball in play, man. So it's not bad.
How many of these events, though, is there going to be a crowd around? Because that's the one thing now. Like today, it's open to the public.
Yeah,
I'm a little concerned about that for some people out there.
No, I mean it's a real deal too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how many people you played in front of with the football helmet on. This is a little different. So I think long as they keep people like immediately away from the tee boxes where people can't get really hurt, 200 yards down, maybe it's not as bad.
I almost use that grandstand on 18 as a backboard.
Right. Yeah, look, it's going to be some shots in the stands for sure.
I want to go back. What's this, LeVar, Tim? I want to go back to this Jerry Jones statement and David Mulugheta's his response to it. From your experience, and you've always been considered one of like what's considered to be like the upper class, like handles things the right way, just an all around like solid good dude. How would you handle a situation like this if you found yourself playing at the level that Micah Parsons is playing at, and you probably know you're going to get a deal done with the organization, but the owner comes out and says something, as you mentioned, in Jerry Jones fashion? How do you handle that? How would you handle this?
Well, I had an owner similar to Jerry Jones. Al Davis was that guy, and in fact, if you look back at the history of Jerry Jones, you would find that he said many times that the man he admired most in life was Al Davis. So, look, there was a situation with me. After my first 4 years, I got injured, had a great rookie year, got injured my second year, third and fourth year were getting better, but Al chose to look at me as just a guy. Right, and wouldn't let me come to training camp. I wanted to come to training camp, didn't want to miss a day, ended up missing 2 weeks of training camp simply because Al Davis, wanted to look at other receivers, to see if there was anybody better than Tim Brown out there. So that's a very difficult position to be in. Thankfully, we didn't have social media at the time, but certainly, there were friends in the media I could have called and got my message out. But sometimes you just got to bite your tongue, man. You really do, and think of this for the long term of the team and not yourself, because even at that young part of my career, there were people looking at me to see how I was going to react to the situation, and I think we handled the situation about as good as we possibly could at the time.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Tim Brown joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. Tim, you went a 10-year stretch in your career where you didn't miss a game. And we're not talking you just played receiver, you returned kicks, you were used as more of an all-purpose player. How were you able to maintain your durability during a 10-year stretch when nowadays it seems like, guys are missing time left and right?
Yeah, for me, man, there was nothing more important than, me being healthy and being able to participate in practice and things of that nature for the team. I mean, I wasn't a party guy, even though we're in LA at the early part of my career, Monday nights, Sunday night, Monday night, you get your partying in. After that, man, you got to prepare yourself for the next weekend. So I think, I wasn't a drinker, never had a drink in my life. So, so that helps out tremendously, right? So I think when you take some of those vices away and you have a real fear of failing, you come in with a Heisman Trophy and people say, oh, well, you know what that means? That's a curse, And so I think, then you have a little success. My rookie year, come back 2 or 3, 4 years, 3 years later and go to Pro Bowl again. And now I'm getting a shot at being the starting receiver in 92. I think from that standpoint, all those things to me meant you got to take care of your body. And there were some practices I probably shouldn't have played, some games I probably shouldn't have played in. Look, I'm going to tell you all this. I played in a game. I had a hamstring problem. The trainer tied a bicycle inner tube to my butt and to my calf, and I played in a game like that. So I should have definitely not. And I scored one of the 65-yard touchdown too. So
wait a
he
second.
MacGyvered your leg. Huh?
Wait a second. So describe that, and how did he come up with that idea?
George Anderson, man, he was the best, bro. I mean, old school Raider guy, and he was like, don't worry about it. I got your hamstring, Timmy. Don't worry about it. I was like, bro, what are you talking about? My hamstring is jacked up. He was like, what I'm going to do to you, you won't even feel your hamstring. And I tell you, I actually did well until I scored on that long pass, and then after that, I couldn't play anymore. But, a bicycle inner tube tied to my calf and my butt, and it sort of took the place of my hamstring.
It provided like a little elasticity or something?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's incredible. You talked about your Heisman. You talked about, obviously, your career in the NFL. You have such great perspective on so many things. So there's a lot of things I could ask you. I'm generally going to ask you this. I'm curious to get your thoughts on where college football is at now. And just, where you think it needs to go. And then same thing on the NFL. Like, are we getting to a point where eventually they'll have 18 games? You look at the media landscape with TV, maybe streaming networks. Is it? Some people would ask, like, is it too much? Like, is the season getting too long? How are these players going to sustain themselves to stay healthy? Just coming off that conversation.
Yeah, I think when you look at college football, man, I just think there needs to be a reset. I mean, I think that what's happening now is really getting out of control. And look, I'm all for guys getting paid. I wish we would have got paid back in the day. Some guys did get paid, but not at Notre Dame. But I know some guys I play with in the league like, man, I got money. I got paid. But no, look, I just think you're not a professional football team. And to be negotiating as if you are on a professional football team is it's a little tough, man. And I just think for these colleges, man, it's going to become the have and the have-nots.
Would you be upset if it basically turns into that? Because it feels like we're slowly walking towards that now.
Yeah, I don't want to see a college pro league and then NFL. I don't want to see that, man. I want college football to be what it is. I mean, our institution represents the game, I think, as best you possibly can. And, you still have guys who are going to college who think about a degree in case football doesn't work out. And, look, I just think that this thing is just heading in the wrong direction, man, and it's heading there quickly. That's the issue. And when you look at the NFL, man, look, I don't know what the NFL is going to do because they have money that they have to spend. And if they don't spend it, then it goes into this tank where, the league, will spread out the money themselves. So I just think that, it's going to be very difficult. I'm telling people, you're going to have $100 million quarterbacks in a minute. You're going to have $100 million defensive guys in a minute. You're going to have $50 million receivers, because the money is out there, and this gambling money being added to it is just going to make everything keep going up.
Jeez, you're right. I asked Calvin Johnson how would he have done in today's NFL? How you talked about practices you shouldn't have been in and different things like that. I mean, I'm younger than you by a little bit, but we were still doing 3-a-days. Yes. At times and training camp. And guys don't, like you say 3-a-days, they don't even comprehend that. And two of them, you were in pads. Right. Training camp used to be more of a grind than even a game. Like, how would you have done with the schedule the way it is now, with the way that they look at concussions and how they treat mental health and all the things, and not to mention all the rules and legislation it is to take guys like me away from being able to do things to guys like you on the football field?
Right. Well, look, man, I'm constantly reminded that if I was playing in today's game, then I would be today's athlete, right? So our mindset would be different because these are the rules. We played by the rules we had back in the day. You know what I mean? And it was basically there were no rules, right?
Right.
You could do whatever you want to do. So I'm being reminded of that. I still say, man, that these guys can get more out of what they have. There was I went to the Raiders weight room for the first time, to their facility for the first time about a year and a half ago, and I walk in the weight room, bro, and they have a 30-yard regulation field inside the weight room.
Inside
the weight room. So that tells you how big the weight room is right there. And all around, of course, you got the weights and all that stuff. But then you have all the nutritional stuff, man. And so I'm videoing this, and under my breath, I say, "How can you not be great?" Right? And it wasn't meant to be, I didn't mean to put that out on social media like that, but I put the video out and people caught my voice and, Tim Brown's calling out the Raiders. It's like, well, I wasn't, but I guess I really was because, because that's what I don't understand, man. We didn't have nearly the stuff that they have now. How are you injured? How are you, how do you not take care of your body? You can literally live in that doggone place. They have 7 a.m. breakfasts and 7 p.m. dinners at the place, man. So how are you not taking care of yourself? How is this not important enough for you to, make sure you're taken care of?
Well, he's a legend at every level, at everything he does. The Hall of Famer, Tim Brown, Heisman Trophy winner, everything that goes along with it. But I'd like to say my fellow Irishman.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you taking some time today.
Appreciate you.
Best of luck. What time do you tee off?
Oh, not to 1:30, but I came in just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. They told me it was a morning tee time. So.
It was, and it got switched.
Okay. All right. Well, we really appreciate it.
No problem, bro.
Thank you so much. That's Tim Brown, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, taking some time to join us today at the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational.
God, what a great player he was. Just look at his stats and his numbers throughout his career. He was unbelievable.